Hi, I'm Lori. Welcome to the Milkweeds and Roses Gardener. Here we are in Iowa, Zone 5B, and as you can tell, the snow is gone, but that doesn't mean it's warm enough to start gardening outside. There are some plants that we can maybe do some cleanup on. There are some plants that are actually starting to poke up out of the ground, like snowdrops and hellebores and some over-enthusiastic tulips. A lot can happen between now and when we actually are ready to have spring start here in Iowa in Zone 5B. So we'll just monitor those things and see what happens. But are you getting ahead of yourself or maybe behind schedule? Do you know what? I had some amaryllis that I did not get potted up in time to bloom for the holidays. But rather than just throw the bulbs out, I delayed it a little bit and just potted them up, and I'm going to turn them into a real pretty spring container flower. So I put them all together. Let's take a look at that project, and for that we're going to go inside and get our spring on. Are you ready? Come on. They've been soaking for about 30 minutes now, so I think that's long enough to hydrate their roots. I found a piece of a broken pot to cover up the drainage hole just so that the soil doesn't leak out. But even with this in place, it can still drain properly. Okay, now to fill it with some nice fertile soil that is real loose and drains well. So this is what I had in the garage, clay balls that I had in another pot in here just to also help out with drainage. So also it doesn't add any weight to the pot because these are super loose, but it does at least help with the drainage of these things. Now, to get these out of the water and set them in the pot. Okay, the next step is to water them in. You can see where I just have them, I just put soil in kind of up to the neck, so they've got a large area still above the surface. So I water in the soil mostly to help get out air pockets, but I'm not going to make it completely wet, but just enough to soak through. Okay, there we go. Okay, since just to sit here, these four stumps sitting in a pot of mud doesn't look real appealing. So in the meantime, I'm going to top dress it with some decorative stones. So this is helpful when it comes to also preventing fungus gnats, because it keeps the surface dry and inhospitable. Okay, and then since I happen to believe that fairy lights make everything a little bit better, I've just added those. This is just a little lighted wire craft that's battery operated. And I also found an old a wreath, a grapevine wreath that I haven't used yet. It was tightly coiled, so I wrapped it around the outside of the pot. It'll loosen up. Well, I have to be honest, even with this planted up, it still looks a little bit plain, like it needs something. So I went to the local garden store and I found just some small little starter plants. I'm going to sprinkle those in here too, so at least the planter looks like it's ready for spring. These are already starting to wake up and come alive, and it'll be nice to, hey, you know what, bring flowers any time of the year. So there's still some life left in these bulbs, and that's encouraging. So let's celebrate it by planting other things around them. And then once these get big enough, I can take them out and put them in their own individual pots, just to give them some more life, because it will crowd out in this thing by the time this blooms and the blooms are done. But in the meantime, let's just plant up this pot and make it nice and green for spring and ready to go. Okay, so let's start by having to take off some of this decorative rock and glass to make way for some other plants. Story of my life here. I should have done this in a different order, figured this out beforehand. I don't like to plan everything out because sometimes it's just no fun. And this is just a little ivy I can pop in here. Let it grow over the side of the plant, or the side of the pot, I mean. You can go in there. These grow so fast, and they're so hardy. I'm not too worried about that. Let's replace with some rock. I can place right there. Again, we're just kind of tucking them in. Right? And they're all similar types of plants in the amount of light and moisture they would like, so that's good news. We've got an ivy on that side. Let's do an ivy on the other, just for the sake of some balance. Make a little pocket, a little planting pocket. So ivy isn't very particular. I think it would be just fine. A little bit of rocks around the outside. It's important to have a surface to catch all your debris on. Don't just put this on your, kitchen table or anything else where you're worried about spilling dirt if you're potting inside on a bad weather day like I am. So another just little ground cover plant, but I like the touches of pink here, which I think will bring out the color in the blooming plants once they're going. And I have a little baby Tradescantia. Isn't that cute? Look at the touches of pink. So I'm going to put that over here on this fourth corner. If a round pot can have a corner, that is. Okay, let's put it over here. Make a little pocket. Just a little pocket. Okay, there we go. Yes. All right. Okay. We might need to water this in again just a bit. Place some of the rocks. I like these pretty colored stones. I keep using them and reusing them, and you can get them on Amazon or any craft store. You can find them. Just a nice, some people use moss, that's fine too, that's pretty. But just something to make the pot look finished so you're not just sitting there looking at dirt. I mean, that's fine too, I guess, but this is just the way I like it. Just a little bit of color, a little pop of color. Okay. Maybe a little more of this glass to kind of make this area sparkle just a smidge. It makes the pot look more finished, but also, like I said, it discourages fungus gnats. They like smooth, constantly damp area, and this stops the water from splashing onto your plants and also helps keep the surface a little bit better drained. Okay. There we go. Now, I'll water it in one more time, just a little bit, not a bunch, because I don't like amaryllis to get a lot of water at this particular stage in development. I think it still might need also something to help these plants cling to once they start to get up so they don't fall over. But here's the finished project that I just cobbled together from other arrangements Just wanted something that was spring looking to make it look kind of like a spring nest is kind of what I was going for. Some spring colors, some spring nests, just using things that I already have. So added some decorative stone and some glass, and they're starting to wake up. So along with some real plants in there and some fake plants just that they can use to prop up when they start to get tall instead of flop. So I think this will look really good, probably come Easter time. So that'll be nice. Okay, that's it for milkweeds and roses, at least for this time. More projects we can always work on. And up next, we're gonna have to get set planting some seeds. Winter drones on, and I'm not gonna be fooled by this early warm snap. I still think we have some more freeze to go. And in fact, there is some snow in the forecast. So it'll be time to start the seeds and have them start to grow before winter's last hurrah here in Zone 5B. So that'll be coming up next. In the meantime, thanks for joining me and for helping me with this creative project. If you have questions or comments, I hope that you let me know. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Happy gardening.